Off we go. Alright guys, welcome to episode 3 of the Southend Dog Training Podcast. Our guest today is Sophie.
Hiya.
Sophie is a very good client of mine. She's still with me. She doesn't actually have to be with me anymore. She just comes for fun now for her dogs. But, Sophie, why don't you tell our guests who you are, where you're from, and why you contacted Southend Dog Training.
Okay. So obviously my name's Sophie. I'm local in Hockley. I contacted Adam because my dog was just awful. I mean, it was borderline. She was going back to where I got her from. I'd contacted the kennels and said, look, I need to bring her back. They said, I've got a space for her. And yeah, it was just something well, I can't really even explain it right now.
When you say awful, what was she doing?
Awful in terms of the last time that I took her out before I spoke to Adam, she pulled me over that I didn't want to walk her again. I couldn't get up off the floor. And yeah, it did scare me thinking I couldn't take her out because she would lunge at people, lunge at dogs.
And what breed is Sasha?
They said she was a Podenco. But that I'm not too sure about. I wouldn't really say she's a Podenco.
The way I describe Sasha, how much does she weigh?
About 25 kilos.
Yeah, so she's like in between a border collie and lab type size dog in terms of height. More along the lines of a border collie. She looks possibly Podenco, but more shepherd type, if you will.
I think she's got a bit of whippet in her by her colouring, to be honest.
Yeah. She's a street dog, isn't she?
She is. She came from Spain at about 3 months old.
Oh, cool. So yeah, I mean we see a lot of issues with dogs that come from abroad. Yeah, whether it's from Romania, whether it's from Serbia, whether it's from Spain. A lot of these dogs come and they would have been living on the streets, so they may not even present issues like when the people go over to the country to bring them over where they've sort of been out and living on the streets. They may be a little bit shy, a little bit withdrawn, but it's not actually until you bring them into somebody's home do the problems arise. And when you actually look at why the problems arise, it's very easy to see. Dog living on the streets, all of a sudden dog's put between four walls, dog panics and freaks out. It's never been in a home. Yeah. And it's for a lot of them, it's almost like bringing a wild dog into your house. These aren't really domestic dogs, so it's actually a big responsibility to take on one of these dogs. So Sasha pulled you over, which can't have been a fun experience.
Not at all. Obviously, that wasn't the main reason. Obviously, when I first got her, I thought, oh yeah, perfect dog. She walked really nicely. Brought her into the home, fed her food. And then I left her for all of a minute and she had one of my other dogs by the throat.
Oh, shit.
Didn't know that one.
Yeah, it was quite a regular occurrence with her. Obviously, like, food aggression. And I thought, right, okay, she might come out of that. She might have struggled to get food before she came over. But obviously that progressed into human aggression. And then obviously aggression towards other dogs.
Yeah, you couldn't have anyone around your house, could you?
Not even my mum. Like, my mum was terrified of her, and for my mum to be terrified of her, I was just like, what am I going to do? I can't have anyone around, can't have kids around. No one could knock on the door. She'll go for the postman. Can't open the door with her in there.
The kid bits was important as well, because obviously you've got a little nephew, haven't you?
I've got a nephew and a niece.
A nephew and a niece, so obviously not being able to have them come round. And you was living with your mum?
I was living with my ex at the time. But yeah, it was just there was no one allowed in the house. I didn't want anyone in the house because it was just the fear of what she was going to do.
I mean, obviously that was all new to you, but this is the sort of people that we see on a daily basis. It's like people having to change their whole life because of the dog. People scared to have people around. People that. And it really is stressful, and this is why we have actually set up these podcasts. Because, like I said, when Maria was on last episode, it's easy for anyone to generate fake reviews. Yeah, if you actually look at most reviews, like on websites and things, it's just text that's been written, and it says it's by someone, but anybody can fashion that together. You can do a post saying, "Oh, so and so said this," right? And it could just be copy and paste. It could be anything. So. But what I want our viewers to hear, our followers to hear, is real life stories, how that person was affected, the sort of behaviour of their dog, how it impacted their life. and how they went going forward. So people can actually say, listening, that's me, that's my dog. I can't have people around my house.
It's interesting when you said your family, you just started not coming around and things like that. I had this. Well, I've still sort of got the exact same issue with Teddy, where he was child snappy at first. A lot of the family didn't want to come around. We had real problems. That no, you know, my dad's wife just sort of refused to come round. And my brother sort of say, "Oh, perhaps not. He's a big dog," but they are slowly starting to come around now. And we sort of thought it was the norm for quite a long time.
But it puts massive pressure on relationships. Yeah. I mean, when it puts you in a position, all right, my family don't want to come round. Yeah, right. They won't bring their nieces and nephews round and things like that. It's like.
But it shows what we do for our dogs, doesn't it?
Do I get rid of the dog? Which obviously.
But most people keep the dog and get rid of the family.
Yeah, always keep the dog, scrap the family, right? But the reality is, you bond with a dog very, very quickly, and what a lot of people don't see, all the other people see is, oh my God, why have you got this vicious beast? Like, it's going to bite someone, it's going to get. But you see the loving dog, because it's not biting you, it's not attacking you. You see the dog that when you're sitting at home is cuddling up to you like this sweet girl.
Innocent.
Everyone, and same with you. You would have saw it with Teddy, but all everyone else sees, what the fuck have you got this beast for?
Yeah, so many.
Absolutely.
My brother actually said to me when I got the dog, he said his nan always had Rottweilers and they were always aggressive and you can't change them. That was it. That was his first word. He said, you need to give that dog back. That was like within 3 days of having the dog.
Mindset. Literally, I did not physically. I called someone out on a post on TikTok. What I love about TikTok is, like all other social media platforms, you can just reply to a comment as normal, the same way you do on Instagram and Facebook. Just hit reply and write your comment. They give you the option to reply as a video. So you can reply to the comment in a video up to 59 seconds, and then you can publicly post it, so it's a new video, and it comes up with their comments, a bit like what we do in our lives when somebody asks a question and their question pops up on the screen. It's like that. And his was about, we'd done a post about Rottweilers, and this bloke just went on about fucking how dangerous Rottweilers are and things like that, and I was thinking, we still have so many people within that ignorant mindset that just look at certain breeds and go, dangerous, and it pisses me off. So yeah, it does. So Sophie, Sasha, she's controlling your life at this stage. You can't have people round. People don't want to come round. How does that make you feel?
Speechless, to be honest. Like, she has and did back then obviously changed my life a lot, but I wasn't giving up on her. Obviously, I went through 2 trainers before you. And I thought, I need to do something. I can't go on like this every day, dreading what she's going to be like at home.
Okay. For those of you watching, Sophie, the story of Sophie, she actually goes on to be a real success story. Okay. So if you at this stage find yourself with a dog similar to Sophie, we definitely urge you to watch this all the way through to the end, because it's a really, really good story. But what we're going to dig into, Sophie, you said you had 2 trainers before us.
Yeah,
okay?
Correct.
You don't have to name the company. We don't.
In fact, we don't want to.
We don't care about that. We're not going to publicly bash other dog training companies unless it's Nikki, because she's an arsehole. Right.
There's one that's fine.
Yeah, Nikki's fine. Right. She doesn't even post videos herself. In fact, right. It's a funny story about Nikki. Right. Nikki's going to be on every podcast now. Right.
Funny. We can make her famous.
Yeah, well, she wants to be famous. That's why she calls me out. Funny thing about Nikki, right? She posted a video once of her training dogs, and it got destroyed. She got criticism on it. Never posted a video since, but now takes every other dog trainer's videos and criticises it, slags them off, gets personal. Yeah, so fuck you, Nikki. Right. So anyway, apart from Nikki, we
carry on.
That's my rant done. She could be our troll comment of the day. Right.
There's one troll comment.
Yeah. So what was the first dog trainer? What I mean, you don't have to say the company or anything like that. But what
were they like?
Yeah, what were they like? What did they do with you, really?
So she was classed as a dog whisperer.
Awesome.
Telling the dog secrets.
That's all I think.
Well, a few things obviously that I recall. The first thing for me was that every time she barked, I had to tell her, the dog, thank you.
Konnichiwa.
And obviously the amount of times that I would have to have said thank you was just like... ridiculous.
Why would you thank a dog for barking?
I think it was like a way of communicating to say thank you, I'm aware of that you're barking, that you have a problem.
But it doesn't stop. Yeah, I mean, if when you ask somebody to do something and you say you don't keep going thank you.
Yeah, punch in the face, thank you.
But again, this is half the problem with dog training these days. The way we're training dogs is like the human being. Thank you. I don't think I've ever said thank you to my dogs ever. Yeah, I mean, I sort of get the premise behind it. The dog's barking. Thank you for letting me know that someone's here or you're uncomfortable, but I'm guessing it didn't work because of it.
Because you had another one since then, another trainer after that one. So first trainer, we'll call him Mr. Thank You.
Mr. Thank You.
Mrs.
Mrs. Thank You. Mrs. Thank You.
There we go. Sorry, I shouldn't assume gender. Right.
Mrs. Thank You.
Mrs. Thank You. So yeah. So she says thank you every time the dog barks. Yeah. Anything else you recall?
So every time that I had to feed them, I had to eat first. I had to eat.
What, a bit of their food, or just to let the dog know it's okay, you're not poisoning the dog?
This makes no sense, right? Because by proxy, a dog whisperer, right, is obviously somebody that sort of imitates the Caesar Milan way of dog training, yeah? And let me just state for the record, I absolutely love Caesar Milan. I do. I don't think everything he does is good by any means. I think he's actually got better over the years because he used to talk about a lot of this dominance theory and mislabel a lot of dogs, and some of his techniques were quite harsh, if you will. But he did open the door and sort of put dog training on the map for me. I think a lot of people take that out. But what he has done over the years, if you watch more modern Caesar Milan, he's a lot more positive reinforcement based, he's a lot more food orientated, and I think he's a lot better now than what he was.
I must admit, the only thing I've really watched on Caesar Milan, I haven't watched a lot of his stuff, but the main reason I know him was the South Park episode.
Yeah. That's brilliant. I actually watched that. That was hilarious. But the problem with it is obviously you get a lot of imitation dog trainers, a lot of people that have watched a few episodes of The Dog Whisperer and then go out, and these are actually some of the worst trainers. There's also some really good ones that have gone and worked with him and learnt from him and done some, but a lot of them, I think the worst one in the world is that bloke from America that wears a cowboy hat, calls himself Big Chuck. We'll end it there, right? But I've never seen anyone abuse the I was like, what the fuck you do, dude? Like, completely shutting dogs down. But yeah, by proxy, a dog whisperer saying thank you, but then getting you to eat before the dog. It's like the dog whisperer, dog trainer you had doesn't even know what they're doing. Because thank you generally comes from the false free camp. The eating before your dog comes from this outdated dominant theory sort of way of behaving. So, yeah, so you had to eat before Sasha.
Yep. And then when it actually came to putting Sasha on a lead with people in the house, she said to put the guest in a room, shut the door, put the dog on a lead, go in the room, and as soon as she started to react, walk back out and just carry it on until...
So crate your guests is what... I mean, just to understand
it's like a military operation, right, guests.
Don't crate your dog, crate
You're
the
already
guests.
terrified of my dog. Do you mind just treading on eggshells? Go and lock yourself in that room for 5 minutes. They can all talk, right, the dog's going to come in a minute. Right.
I can hear the handle turning.
Make eye contact with the dog. Right. Yeah, I mean, by rights, guy, I mean, this removal of the dog, this putting dogs in timeout, this shutting dogs away, it doesn't help, yeah? A lot of the times what it does is actually reinforce the behaviour. The reason Sasha's reacting is because she's insecure. So she's reacting, she's letting you know she's insecure, and then she gets rewarded by being removed from the situation. It's not going to... She learns that every time I react, the person goes away, or I go away. It's a win for her because that's her coping mechanism at that time. But because that's her coping mechanism, because it's being reinforced, she's going to remain stuck and do it every single time. I'm not really sure what eating before her is going to achieve. I mean, I've never told you to eat before your dogs. I understand the mentality. Again, it's almost like that you look at them like they're wolves. So the hierarchies would eat first and then the rest. But
I understand the theory behind it.
Yeah, but the reality is it's a dog.
Yeah.
It's not a wolf. They may share similar DNA. I think it's like 99% DNA.
Yeah, but don't we share that the same as a rat? Don't we? 99%. Yeah, I think we're the 99% the same as a rat.
I would have said chimpanzee.
No, I'm sure it's a rat.
No. But anyway, I mean, we you Google it. But I think we share something like 98% DNA with a chimpanzee or something like that. But we could be further away from a chimpanzee if we tried. I mean, we don't lob faces at people walking past. We don't sit there masturbating as a crowd watches us and piss on people.
Yeah.
Yeah. and we don't swing from trees.
No.
We live in houses, and so yeah, just because we share similar DNA doesn't make us the same species. Well, yeah, this eating. Anyone that thinks that you have to eat before your dog to prove that you're pack leader or in charge, just stop right now, because it makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. Yeah, there's many times when my dogs eat before me, and they don't all of a sudden go, right, that's it, I've got the upper hand now, I eat first, you're my bitch. It just doesn't work like that. Yeah, so taking Sasha into a room, removing Sasha from a room.
Yeah.
How was that going?
To be honest, it didn't fill me with much confidence at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know full well that I couldn't say to someone, do you know what? Obviously, I know Sasha's not the best dog, but can you sit there and then I'll bring her in and see if she barks at you? Because to me, that's like, I'm panicking because of how she's going to react. And obviously, if I let her know that I'm worried, which I really was, then she's just going to be worse. Obviously, I think I had her on a harness as well, so I had no control over that. It just didn't really help in anything.
How long was you with this trainer for?
Well, I saw her once.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke to her once after I'd seen her. I was guaranteed a lifetime backup, and then I never heard from her again.
So, you know, this is very common. This is something that I see a lot of people that say that have gone to other trainers. They're offered like a lifetime support via email, and some of them get like 1 or 2 responses, but then all of a sudden it goes dead. The line's just like completely destroyed. And the thing is, like, I don't understand. Right, you'll have 1 session, and then we'll give you a lifetime support via backup, because you can't put a time limit on a dog. Yeah, some people do only need 1 session to help with some stuff. Some people need a lot more. Like Sasha needed more than 1 session. Yeah, Sasha needed sort of continuous training. She needed to be exposed to what made her afraid, and we'll get into that in a minute. But all this 1 session and then that's it. Off you go. You're armed with the tools. It's I don't know. It's insane. So obviously trainer number 1 fell short. So trainer number 2.
Trainer number 2 was actually part of the rescue that I got her from. And I just said, obviously, that I don't know what to do with her. I've had 1 trainer, and they said, right, go to this person. I said, all right then. And he came round. I was back at my parents' at this time, and to be honest, there wasn't really anything that actually went into my head what he said. Like, there was.
Did his name begin with B?
It did.
Yeah, okay, I know. Yeah, I know.
They're just like when she started barking.
He didn't used to fit blinds, did he?
No, he's not the blind fitter. He's the one that basically overcomplicates everything. He also was with Sue and Bongo.
Yeah.
She reached out to him before coming to me.
Okay.
And when he replies about the issues of the dog, nobody can understand it.
He goes on a rant about everything.
It's an essay, but the words he uses, the typical person with very limited understanding of dogs can't understand it. It's all scientific terminology and things like that your average Joe isn't going to understand. Yeah, and it's all a lot of it. I actually read. Sue sent me a screenshot of a message from him once, and I was thinking, you're contradicting yourself. I could understand what he's saying, but he's like starting to contradict himself. And I'm thinking, if you send this to like you don't have a fucking clue what he's saying. Like,
no.
Yeah. So okay. Anyway, so.
I think obviously where she is in the house as well, there's a baby gate, and he literally just opened the gate, went in there, and obviously when she's close to someone, she's generally calms down a bit because she can smell them.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't really see how she was reacting, what the issue was. He just walked straight in there, and then obviously she's calmed down. So he's like, well, there's your problem, pretty much. Not, this is how you're going to deal with it, or... I just didn't get anything from him, and I just thought, what a waste. Like, it's just a wit's end after that. It's just nothing I picked up from him.
Yeah. Ironically, that trainer messaged me a few years ago, because obviously I'd started making waves within the dog training community, and he'd seen some of my videos, and he actually messaged me going, if you want to learn more about positive reinforcement, I'll be happy to teach you. I was like, I'm sorry, mate. Who the fuck are you? Yeah, it's the first time I'd heard about him. I'd never heard of him at all. So I started having a look, and this is how he was brought to my attention. But I was like, dude, you're apart from within that rescue, you're an absolute nobody in this game. Like, and you're. I don't get why trainers reach out to other trainers and try to force their. That's like the worst thing you can do. I mean, there's a difference between somebody working with a force free trainer and going, well, my trainer told me to do this, as opposed to an actual trainer coming on and sending you a message going, hi, I'd be happy to teach it. Fuck off,
It's the same thing. They're just trying to piggyback off of what you've achieved.
Yes.
You know, that's exactly it. They're saying, you know, Adam, let me talk to you. And then they're going to go, oh, I've helped Adam. You know, you go, what's the point?
So, B did nothing for you?
No, not at all. Not at all.
No.
Just going back to mice and men, 97.5% the same DNA.
Really?
Yeah, and apparently 60% the same as a banana.
So if you call someone a rat, it's not actually that much of an
Yeah,
insult.
it's pretty much, yeah. I thought it was, but yeah. Quick Google, someone can correct me later. That's fine, but yeah.
Alright, so, 2 trainers down. Not much happening. Sasha's still reactive, I assume, at this stage. Well, she was when I met her, so...
Even more so.
Okay.
So worse.
Worse, yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, the longer the problem goes on, this is what a lot of people don't understand. When a behaviour is reinforced by a dog, whether it's a behaviour we like or a behaviour that's working for the dog, they will do it over and over again. Dogs are very black and white, yeah? If it works for them, they'll continue to do it. If it sucks for them, they're less likely to do it, yeah? So Sasha's reactivity stands to get worse at this stage because nobody's addressing the actual problem. Nobody's teaching her what to do in the scenario. It's all avoidance at this stage. It's all removing her from the room at this stage, or doing things like eating before her, which aren't going to make a difference, or saying thank you. But you may as well just toss every time she barks, have a treat. Bark, have a treat. So all you're doing is actually reinforcing it, and it's working for her at this stage because nobody's going near her. Yeah. So of course it's going to get worse and worse. So what made you contact Southend Dog Training?
Well, believe it or not, at this time I'd already contacted the kennels and said, look, she's coming back, because I tried to find someone in my family that would take her, because obviously I just moved back to my parents, and it's not only my problem now, it was theirs as well, and to put that pressure on them wasn't fair. So I went to get my eyebrows done, and I was lying there, and she was like, oh, you're right. I went, no, I've had like a really bad day, I've got problems with my dog. And she went, I know this trainer, he's a bit of a dickhead.
I love it.
I assume this was Adam.
Indeed. She went,
she's looking into the future. She's talking about Lee, who starts for us next month.
So this person seems to know a lot what they're talking about, so let's carry on with this person.
Who was this person that called me a dickhead? Was she a client of mine?
She was. She went, right.
I know who it is.
Do you?
Yes, I remember you telling me this. I do. She's got a Rottweiler.
That's the one.
Yeah. Lives in Rochford. It's Holbridge.
Holbridge, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I know. I remember you telling me this story. Yeah, no, it's fine.
He's a bit of a dickhead, but he really knows what he's doing. He gives us homework every week, and I get a fucking bollocking if I don't do it. And she was like, yeah. When I heard that, I was like, do you know what? Like, he's got to be something for her to say that he's quite good, especially like what her dog was like.
Yeah.
And you were local, and I just thought, you know what? I'll try. So I messaged you, and I think my message to you was, right, I need help. She's reactive. She's eating my fence to get to my next door neighbour's dog. She lunges. She's reactive to dogs, humans, and you name it. And that was the start of it.
Adam, what did you think when you read? Obviously, you get messages like that day in, day out. What was your initial reaction? Was you just bread and butter to you?
Bread and butter. Yeah. Literally, I actually get people. I think sometimes I worry people because they will ask for help with their dog, and like, yeah, that's fine. Booking a session. It's like, do you want to know the issues? I'm like, no. As long as I can walk in the house, or you're not gonna basically just let the dog come and kill me when I walk through the door. Yeah. If it's reactive, that's all I need to know, and then obviously make sure it's on the lead or muzzled when I come in the house. Yeah. But the past is irrelevant. Like I said, Sasha's a street dog. I mean, we may not necessarily know the past of a dog. Yeah, I can't change the past, and this is why I don't care about what's happened. As long as I know the dog's in a safe, secure environment, it's not being abused anymore, it's got a nice home, I don't care about the past of the dog. It's not going to change my training in any way. And I actually had this discussion yesterday with a person who's got a French Bulldog, and she was very much living in the past. Like, everyone that she would talk to, she was telling the story about her dog, and you could tell how emotional she was getting every time she was telling the past of this dog, because when she did get the dog, it was skin and bones. Like, it was in terrible shape, and you could probably tell every time you took a shoe off, the dog would flinch, and but she was living in the past. She wasn't able to forget about this. Yeah, I don't need to know that the dog's afraid of people, or that somebody's basically attacked the dog in the past to know that it's afraid of people. I know you're afraid of people. I can see right now you're afraid of people. I don't need to know what's caused your anxiety. I can see that you're anxious, and this is why I don't care too much about the past of the dog. As long as I know the dog's safe and secure, I'll make my assessment when I get there, because 9 out of 10 people actually get their dog wrong anyway. The amount of people that go, I think my dog's being protective. I go in the house, I'm like, boo, and the dog runs away. I'm like, your dog's not protective. Your dog's massively insecure, panicking at this stage. Go, fuck off! Stay away from me! Stay away from me! I'm like, yeah, your dog's not protecting shit, love. Yeah. So I like to make my assessment when I go there. But when people say my dog's reacting to other dogs, reacting to people, I'm like, yeah, it's just run of the mill. Yeah. Of course, sometimes I'm like, shit, this is actually pretty... Well, sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, it's just where people don't understand the dog. They keep forcing themselves on the dog, or you've been given shit advice from a previous trainer. So, yeah. So, you sent me that message. If I wasn't banned from Facebook, I could probably go and find that message. Yeah, there is a search option.
Yeah, I'll have a look at it.
I don't know if I text you or Facebook you, though. I might have Facebook you, but...
I don't know. I'm banned from Facebook forever. Oh, don't worry about it too much. But yeah, so you sent me a message under preface that I'm a bit of a dickhead. So at this stage, I'm already winning, because I just have to be myself. And you're already prepared for me being a dickhead, which is brilliant. Yeah, I don't know why people think I'm a dickhead. I try so hard.
Never figured it out.
Wow.
Mate. Yeah.
Wow.
The thing is, right, I mean, I think it's why we've got to where we are, because when I go into a house, I mean, I would consider you actually quite a good friend of mine. I mean, we did the Toughest Mother together, me, you, Lee and Courtney, and things like that. I get on with you really well now, and you're more than a client, you're more of a friend now. But when I go into people's houses, I'm not there to make friends. Yeah, I'm there to do a job. I'm there to help the dog, and I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and spare your feelings, yeah, because you need to be told, look, you've got a dog, if it bites someone, it's going to get destroyed, yeah? Stop living in the past, fucking pull your head out your ass and fucking get on with it, and it's that attitude that actually gets you where you need to be. Now, some people get offended and go, oh, he spoke to me like this, and they don't last.
It literally is that case, it really is.
Yeah, so you booked it. How long did you have to wait? Did you have to wait long? I come to you on a weekend, I believe, didn't I?
I think you were meant to come and see me, and then you didn't. And I was like, look, please, I need you to come. And you were like, all right. And then you were like, I'll do this day. I think I booked day off work, and then you came maybe 2 weeks. But I was waiting, like.
Okay. So the wait list changed dramatically now, because we're booking people in for January. But yeah, so how comes I didn't come?
I honestly can't remember, but I was gutted.
Yeah.
I was.
I mean, the only reason I wouldn't come to an appointment if I booked it in would be car trouble, or the fact that I've lost a limb somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember the session because it actually came up on my time hop the other day, seeing you walking Sasha and Sammy for the first time. So obviously, should we fast forward to the session, day after session, knock knock. What happened?
Well, I opened the door, you heard her barking, that was it. You went straight in there, into the kitchen, and then I think she just barked in your face. And I was like, oh God. But you just dealt with the situation, and I was like...
So, with me, the assessment of Sasha was instantly, you're insecure. Yeah, a lot of people see a dog, oh my God, that's a dangerous dog, oh my God, that dog's going to hurt someone. And if you don't know what you're doing, yeah, it will. Because she... Did she bite anyone?
No, but it was very, very close a few times.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, when a dog's reacting, it's having a conversation, yeah? Dogs talk, but humans don't listen. All I saw was Sasha basically screaming out, look, I don't know you, I'm terrified. Yeah? So, we go in there. Did I actually put a lead on her? I can't remember what happened.
No, I can't, to be honest. I think it was more of a case of, obviously, you could see what she was like in the house.
I'm beginning to think, because I know we used pet corrector with Sasha. Yeah. I think we used pet corrector and treat with Sasha.
I think it would have been a pet corrector.
Yeah. So the tool that we used for Sasha was a pet corrector. If you don't know what a pet corrector is, it's a can of compressed air, so it's completely harmless to a dog. It looks like a red deodorant can, if you will, like a female deodorant can, like one of those long, thin, cylindrical ones. and it just sprays compressed air. Now, you don't spray it in the dog's face, but when she's reacting, you could tell that she was insecure, but she's stuck. Yeah, and she'll continue to get worse and worse and worse, as she had been. This is why I'm here. Yeah, if something doesn't interrupt where the dog's at, it will continue to escalate. Now, at this stage, throwing treats is pointless because she's already worked up. Just the sight of another person that she doesn't recognise sends her doolally. So I used to pet correct her and went, enough. That instantly startled her, like, what the fuck? I've not experienced this before. Yeah, but punishment. This is where a lot of the trainers go wrong. Like that B, for instance, the second one you worked with is a full tree trainer. Yeah, so they're never going to use punishment. Punishment doesn't mean kick the shit out of the dog. Punishment simply means to add something or to remove something to decrease the behaviour. Now, the pet corrector is positive punishment. Every time she barked, we added that. She didn't like that. It started to decrease the behaviour. Yeah, but because the behaviour lowered, we could throw treats, and she'll start to take the treats. So very quickly she learned, okay, if I react to this person and start to get stressed, this happens. So it's not even worth me going there now. Yeah, but if I don't get worked up, not only does this not happen, this happens. Positive reinforcement. Wow, I get food. So walking her was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, so once we basically very quickly stopped her being a douchebag around me and just realised that she didn't have to do it, we got Sasha out. You wanted to address the walking because you'd recently been pulled over by her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we used a slip lead, I believe, didn't we?
To begin with, it was a slip lead.
And she was dog react. I think she was crying out for help because Sasha was actually quite easy during the home session. Literally had her on a slip lead, walked with her, got my assistant to get Sammy out of the car, and literally I think I gave Sasha one tug on the lead and she didn't react, and I think you was like, what the hell's going on here? Because normally she'd be pulling you over and things like that. But again, the fact that she started to respond that quickly again showed me that she was crying out for that leadership, crying out for that someone to go, look, you don't have to worry anymore.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
Yeah, definitely.
So I actually had you walk Sammy and Sasha as well.
You did.
How did that feel?
Well, obviously I know Sammy relies on you not confidence, but direction as such. So when I was walking Sammy, I was trying to have her as well as Sasha, and I was like, right, you need to be more stern with what you're saying to Sammy. And then obviously I've got Sasha, and I thought, I can't do this. Yeah,
I think Sammy actually hesitated to walk with you, didn't she?
She did, yeah, she didn't.
And Sammy is one of those dogs, you can pick up the lead, off you go. She'll go with you. Like, Sammy's a highly trained dog. I mean, she's got her own bloody fan club. Sometimes I think the dog's more popular than I am, right? But, yeah, the reason sometimes when the dog's in a half-decent state like Sasha was, a confidence building thing I like to do is give the person my dog as well at the same time, because then you can't think about your dog now. You've got two dogs, you've got to freaking get into that zone. But Sammy was actually hesitant to walk with you, and that showed me straight there that, look, if you can't even get basically a well-trained dog to follow you, we're going to really struggle to get Sasha to follow you. Because with me, she walked like a dream, didn't react to dogs. I had her not reacting to me within like freaking 30 seconds of being in the house. Yeah, she's insecure, but we've also got an extremely insecure dog owner at this stage. Yeah, and I literally uploaded a video yesterday to show the difference when I went into the house with two Dachshunds. Lady had the dog on a lead because it's reactive to people. She's tugging on the lead, telling the dog enough, and you can tell how tense she is. I went, come here, give me the lead. As soon as I picked up the lead, the whole demeanour of the dog changed. Just the very presence of me picking up the lead, the whole demeanour changed. I'm like, right, well, obviously your dogs are insecure, but work needs to be done with you as well. Yeah. Because did any of the other trainers actually focus on you?
Not really, no. I mean, I nearly said his name then. There was nothing done outside with him. He didn't. No. Obviously, trainer number 1, the only thing that I did with her was it was a case of putting Sasha on a lead, walking, and then if she started to pull, turn around and walk in circles, and it was literally back and forth. And she went, every time she pulls, turn around.
Is that drop the lead and turn?
No, it's
just turn.
No, it's the get dizzy technique for lead walking. You can always tell when someone's been to a full tree dog trainer, because when they're out with their dog, you go, right, you've recently been to a trainer, because all they're doing is going around in circles. Like, they start walking, the dog goes in front to change direction, then they change direction again because they want to keep going that way. And I just think, sometimes if you're stuck in traffic and you happen to see one, it's priceless. It's like, yeah, there's bags of entertainment. Yeah. Because like I said, it's just insane. When we're neglecting the fact that punishment is part of a learning theory, is how all animals on the planet learn. I mean, you learn through punishment and reinforcement. You learn through punishment and reinforcement. Our kids learn through it. It's part of life, yeah. And a lot of these dog trainers are going against what works to create an ideology to fit an image. That's effectively all it is. So we took Sasha out, we got her walking. You did eventually get Sammy. I'll try and dig out the video. We might be able to put it over the top of this at some point. But I'll dig out the video of you walking Sammy. You got there. What was the next step? Was it pack walks?
The next step was pack walks, because you said you need to build your confidence up. I really did. I mean, walking Sammy and Sasha at the same time, I was like, okay, this is the start, but when you go, I'm not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's a case of needing to carry on my training, which is what you offer that the others didn't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is why we are able to help so many people that have done to other trainers. One is because the dog's the easy part. I think a lot of dog trainers are focusing on the wrong thing. They're focusing on the dog. Yeah. Any dog trainer worth its salt should be able to take a dog, boom, nice and simple, very quickly turn it around. But it's the handler. It's the handler. This is why I want to get t-shirts made up saying it's never the dog, it's the human. Yeah. Because sometimes you get like extreme cases where it doesn't matter who's holding that fucking lead, that dog's going to go regardless, and that is very, very deep rooted in the dog. A lot of the time the dog is insecure and is dangerous, but with that confidence and authority, they very quickly change around. Sasha was one of those dogs. Yeah. Like I said, within a few minutes I'm walking Sasha next to another dog. This is a dog that's pulled you over at the sight of another dog. This is a dog that you can't have people in your house. I've gone in your house, I've got Sasha, we're outside. Yeah? So Sasha is massively insecure, but obviously you're equally, and if you've got fear and fear, it only creates more fear. So we wanted you to join the pack walks because it is... Right, for everyone that's just watching the visual version, we had a quick break because Sophie needed to get some water, and then we had a cheeky cigarette. Okay? So if it's all of a sudden sort of jumped and skipped, if you're listening now on audio on Spotify or iTunes, that's the reason why. But we was at pack walk, so we just got Sophie on pack walks, okay, and the first pack walk was quite stressful to say the least, wasn't it, Soph?
Very stressful.
So what happened? We wanted to put you on pack walks to build your confidence, but your confidence was actually really, really low. That Sasha just basically took over. There was dogs moving around, and our pack walks are extremely controlled. Like, we get a lot of people come to us from other dog training companies that have gone on pack walks, and they've made the dogs worse because all the dogs are running around, they're running up to some of the dogs on the lead, you've got dogs reacting left, right and centre. Whereas ours, we make it so that every single dog has their own personal space. No dog's personal space is getting invaded. Dogs only allowed off the lead if it's got a bomb-proof recall. It's not allowed to come to the back where the nervous Nellies hang out. It's not allowed to invade anyone's personal space. It's not allowed to run over to members of the public. And they help massively. They did help you once you sort of got out of that. But yeah, you were so nervous that Sasha spent, I think, the first half of her pack walk on her back legs.
Yeah. Back legs. And I was just like, what am I going to do? I didn't really know what I was going to do, and then I think you came over and you were like, look, you need to do this. Kind of had a bit more control over there, but I was still just thinking, no, can't do this. And then I think it came to, what was the dog called that was off lead? I'm trying to think. It was another rescue. Very reactive at one point.
Don't know, it wasn't Coda, was it?
No, it wasn't Coda. Oh my god, I'm trying to think what dog it was.
I don't know. We one of the things I like about the pack walks is we have people there that have been on the pack walks and now come for fun. But when the new people hang out, turn up and they realise that obviously their dog's all over the place and they think there's no light at the end of the tunnel, I can go, well, that dog off its lead right now up the front, not bothering anyone, loving life to the fullest. That dog was worse than your dog, or that dog was your dog once upon a time. So people start to go, actually, that's really, really cool. So, I mean, you were struggling with Sasha, it was very evident. So we opted to use a prong collar for Sasha instead because she was basically choking herself on the slip lead. Yeah, and your hand was being hurt and you was being pulled all over the place. And I wanted to give you something to give you more confidence. Like I said, our training is more focused on the handler, and right now the tool that we was using that worked so well for me wasn't working so well for you. So we put a prong collar on. I think we took it off one of the dogs there, didn't we? Because it wasn't never our goal to put a prong collar on Sasha. Like I said, when I'd done the home visit, she walked lovely on the slip lead, but on the pack walk, you could tell that because there was other dogs around and other people that your confidence was really, really low, and I wanted something to empower you. So I think we took a prong collar off one of the dogs that was more advanced in their training. This is the beauty of tools as well. Tools are meant to aid in the training, they're not forever. So we was able to take a prong collar off one of the better behaved dogs there, right? And it was actually a real good moment for them as well, because they was like, they've sort of become a bit reliant on the prong collar. It was like, your dog's fine now, you don't actually need it. And I think we gave them your slip lead and their dog walked like a dream, and that gave them confidence. Like, actually I don't need this tool anymore, the training's working, our relationship's better. And then we put their prong collar on Sasha. I can't remember whose prong collar we used, but we put it on Sasha. What was your opinion of the prong collar? Did you have any opinion, or was you just sort of, I'll try anything at this stage?
I think the only thing I thought about it is I've seen this on Facebook. I've seen the picture that circulates of the holes in the neck.
Yes.
And I just thought, oh my God. Yeah. And I kind of held it, looked at it, like touched the edges, and I thought, it's not even that sharp. And I thought, if that dog over there was happy, controlled, and has got this far, I'll try. Yeah,
well, that's the thing. I mean, the people that see this picture on Facebook, they're looking at it purely emotive anyway, because they've never felt a prong collar, they've never used a prong collar, never needed to use one. So their only experience really is seeing it, the image of it, which does look like a medieval torture device, yeah, and that picture that sort of goes along with it for the people that warn you against using it. But that wasn't even a prong collar that did it. That was just somebody. I'd love to know the original person that posted that and twisted it.
We found the original the original article about it the other day. It was from a university in 2000 or something. Some kid.
Yeah, it was a spike collar turned inside out, wasn't it? Because I saw that.
The dog.
But I'd love to know. So the original photo. If you've seen the photo on Facebook where anyone mentions prong collars, and then they upload this photo of the dog with loads of holes in its neck, that's the picture we were referring to. Now that picture was originally a spike collar turned inside out, and the dog was left chained up, wasn't he? And the water bowl or food bowl was just out of reach. Yeah. So every time the dog's desperate to get water, obviously the spikes are jamming into its neck. But it wasn't even a prong collar at all. Right. But what I'd love to know is who was the force-free trainer that decided this was what a prong collar did? Because that's where we're at now. It's no longer a spike collar inside out. It's literally, through propaganda, that's what a prong collar does. Yeah, which couldn't be further from the truth, because the prongs don't even sit on the back of the dog's neck anyway. Oh, that's ridiculous. Yeah, that's where the freaking lead attaches to. There's no prongs there whatsoever. But yeah, the beauty of it is, obviously, if people are on the fence, like, because we produce so much content, we produce like 6 videos a day across all our social media. So when people see it, when we do recommend these tools, they've already sort of invested in us. They've seen the work we do, they've seen the dogs, they've got more of an open mind. And even better is when you're on that pack walk, we took it off another dog, and you could clearly see, as you said, well, that dog's fine, that dog's not miserable, that dog's not yelping, that dog's not in pain, that dog's happy. So if it's working for that dog, So the prong collar, it was almost instant night and day, wasn't it?
It was instant. It literally was. I can't.
Yeah, it introduced it, slight pressure and release, and that's it. Sasha was walking lovely like a dream for the rest of the pack walk, and then all of a sudden, I think it's more like a light bulb went off. Now you can walk Sasha, now you can start to, and it gave you the confidence. But you then join group classes for further training. This was my favourite, because I reference Sophie all the time, yeah. I rode Sophie non-stop in the group classes. That sounds really wrong. The group classes we're referring to aren't dog training classes. Keys in a bowl, keys in a bowl. No, it was all about you, because with me, Sasha was a dream. With you, Sasha was an arsehole. Yeah. So Sasha was insecure, but the key to helping Sasha really was helping you. So I had to be on you constantly, and all I remember saying to you, I think the first few classes, is, Sophie, what's that? What's that, Sophie? I can't hear you. So, because you was the quietest, timidest person I think ever. And I've had Courtney in my classes. right? But you were so quiet and so nervous, and I needed to bring that out of you. I needed to. So I just rode you constantly. Sophie, what's that? I can't hear you. Constantly, and then I think you started shouting back at me.
He was like, there it is, keep going.
I think it literally was like that.
Yeah, I think I just
fuck off, Adam.
But I needed to ignite that fire. I did. I needed to. That's what I mean. It's people training at the end of the day. It's not dog training. And as I referenced earlier, a lot of dog trainers are failing because they're focusing too much on the dog. This is why we don't do boarding trains. It's why we'll never do boarding trains. Is because any dog trainer can take a dog. I could have took Sasha for 2 weeks. She would have been a dream. Within a few days, she'd be absolutely fine. My dog's probably running around off lead, loving life. Give her back to you. I've got a go-home session to do with you. I've got to cram everything that we've done in 2 weeks into one session. You're basically, oh my God, I missed my dog and all that. Yeah. And I've done no work with you. I've done all the work with the dog, but very quickly the dog will revert if you haven't had the work. The handler needs to be involved every step of the way. And this is why we have a very selective process about the way we do it. We have a home visit, then we get you on classes and pack walks as follow-on training to build both your dog's confidence and your confidence. But you have to be involved every step of the way. Because like I said, I could take Sasha. She was good as gold. But every time you had Sasha...
It's the reason the online training group works so well. You know, we often, 9 out of 10 times never see those dogs. But it's because we're training the handler at the end of the day. Yeah. You know, we're teaching the people what to do. We get them to
strip everything back. They send us a video of what they're struggling with. I'm like, right, you're struggling with that, but can you get your dog to sit longer than 30 seconds? No. Back to basics for you. So we start with the ground up. Our foundation for everything is the art of attention, yeah? So they start there. We've got like 5 videos that every single person needs to master. To watch, yeah, before even attempting to address the reactivity. We have to rebuild the relationship, the handling, everything. Yeah, and once you got that, everything else is easier. So the classes, they were my favourite because I just used to bully you basically. Yeah, living up to the marker that I am a dickhead. But it worked.
It did. It really did. It just, when I talked to my mum about it, she's just like, I can't believe not just how far Sasha's come, but how far I've come.
Your mum come on a pack walk once, didn't she?
Yeah, and my sister.
Yeah, I know. I know your sister. Your mum come on a pack walk once, didn't she? Because I remember talking to her. She couldn't believe the difference in Sasha on a pack walk.
No.
She actually seemed like she was actually comfortable around Sasha as opposed to. Oh, I don't really get this, but yeah. So Sophie, I was on her constantly because I knew that's what she needed. She needed someone just to basically almost somewhat bully her to the point that she's like, I can do this. Yeah. And she did. And Sophie has now gone on to be one of the best dog handlers to ever come through our class. I reference you all the time to classes. When people come, I think I went full blown Gordon Ramsay on one of my classes on Sunday because they were shocking. Yeah, and I lost my shit with them, and I had this whole lesson plan for them, and it was obvious that they hadn't been practicing, so I went off on them. Right, I couldn't hear any of them. The dogs were all over the place, so I went full blown Gordon Ramsay on them. And then I made them do a very basic exercise. They mastered that. And then the rest of the class, they were good as gold. It was like, yes, this is what you're able to achieve. This is what... and this was the level that they're normally at. And I said to her, it's just so frustrating that I had to go full-blown Gordon Ramsay on you for you to actually get into that zone of getting your dogs to listen. But I remember saying the same thing, and it reminded me of you straight away. Like I was like, what's that? What's that? Do you know what I can't hear, guys? I can't hear you. And you was actually standing on the sidelines. Yeah. I was like, that's what you was like. And looking over at you, because you was just there chatting with Lee, looking at you, I was thinking that was you once upon a time. So quiet, so meek, and the dog just take over it. If you don't mean what you're saying, if you don't project that authority, the dogs know it. You can't fake it with a dog, and they will take over. Please sit, Jimmy. Sit, sit, sit. Please stop. The dog's like, what? You're down here. I'm up here, love. You got a fucking match where I'm at. And yeah, we did that. And now, like, so you're an inspiration. I actually went to see my friend Thursday, and your name actually come up in conversation.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I mean. because we was just talking about business and success stories and messages we get sent, because we get sent messages every day of people saying how we've changed their lives and everything. And we was talking about a podcast, and I said, obviously, I've got Sophie coming on the podcast, and I told him your story in a nutshell. And he's like, that's got to make you proud, hasn't it? I was like, yeah, immensely proud to see somebody that is so nervous, somebody that's been pulled over by their dog, somebody that's questioning giving the dog back to the fucking rescue because they can't cope, having their family not be able to come round and see you, yeah, just being that sort of rock bottom and that sort of insecure around your dog, to being a person that can let your dog off the lead anywhere, being a person that I can reference to for the new people. Yeah, I think I might have even pointed over. That was her once upon a time. Now she put all of you guys to shame. Yeah, the one person I can hear in every class is Sophie. Yeah, I think I did the same with Courtney. Courtney was so quiet when I first met her. Now Courtney's probably the loudest person I have.
Yeah,
that was in my class.
It's funny because when I first met Sophie, I never knew the timid side of the dog. So I mean, I came to the classes and Sophie was there. She's not shouting at the dog, but I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. I'll sit as well.
It is, but that's what you need. And once we lit that fire in you, that was it. The rest was history. Sasha's off her lead, running around, loving life. You don't have to worry about dogs. You're the person that if we're doing something in the class, I'm like, right, Soph, show me how it's done. Yeah, you're the person that I can reference if somebody's struggling, if somebody's confidence is at rock bottom. Yeah, look at that person over there. She was like you, if not worse. I think you were probably the quietest person I've ever had in my classes.
Yeah.
Probably the person I bullied the most as well. Yeah, and you've gone on to be one of the best. It's incredible. So, pretty much the story of Sasha, if you will. So, what's life like with Sasha now?
Well, obviously, we haven't mentioned the e-collar part.
Oh, shit, yeah. So, why did we e-collar train Sasha?
We e-collared her because I wanted her to have the freedom that the other dogs could. Mm-hmm. Obviously, with all the struggles that I had, with not being able to walk, I just thought I want her to enjoy her walks. I want to enjoy the walks. And obviously just having that freedom with her was just next level for me. Coming on the pack walks and being the person at the front that had that controlled dog that wouldn't run to the back.
There's not many that come on the pack walks that have that.
Well, it's interesting actually because one of the first pack walks I done, I actually got speaking with you, and I said, how is your dog so well behaved? That's incredible. I said that's what I want for my dog. You know, there's me pulling, well, not being being pulled by Teddy, but holding Teddy back. And I said, how did you do that? And you went e-collar training. I was like,
I remember that conversation so well.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
it was. I was like, I'm not sure about that. You was like, no, just try.
Sometimes I forget you as a client of mine. We've come so far now, like in terms of, because you're the reason behind obviously the online training. Yeah, you're the one that created the website. You're the one that added the online training side of things like that. Yeah, obviously, it's my pretty face that gets people through the door, but. Yeah, but so sometimes
I came from the same roots as Sophie. I'm quite fortunate. Teddy's quite a confident dog, so I was quite happy walking up the front. But I couldn't trust him anything like off lead. I mean, that was my dream when I met you, to have an off lead dog and to have him free and roaming around and perfect recall. And I was like, Sophie, your dog's so well behaved. That's just incredible. How have you achieved that? And you said e-collar trained.
Yeah.
He
was so hesitant, and I was like, look, just do it. I do remember that really well.
Yeah, and it wasn't. I mean, it's the costs as well, because I say they're not cheap.
No.
So £240, I think I paid off Amazon. Came from America.
Yeah.
The thing is, and again, e-collars we spoke about with Maria last time, so we're not going to go into too much detail about it. If you want to know more about e-collars, obviously we've got a whole e-collar playlist on our YouTube. We've got a whole e-collar playlist in our online training group. We've got so much information about e-collars, the good, the bad, the ugly, choosing the right e-collar, what an e-collar really is. So we're not going to go into too much detail about that, but as soon as you mention e-collar, people instantly scream abuse, electric shock and things like that. But the reality is, as you just said, nobody's spending 240 quid
to abuse
plus
their dog.
the sessions to abuse a dog. If you're going to abuse a dog, you do what that fucking idiot done with that freaking spike collar, chain it up, turn a spike collar inside out, and put a food bowl out, water bowl out of reach. That's abuse.
Yeah.
You'll feed your dog to the point it can't function. That's abuse. Nobody's spending 240 quid to abuse a dog.
To give it off lead freedom.
Yeah. What you're actually doing is you're actually giving your dog a better life. Yeah. E-collars aren't a shock collar, it's actually a TENS machine, it's a muscle stimulant. That's all I'm going to go into subject. But what it's done is it basically gives your dog a better life. It gave Sasha full off-lead freedom. So, what's life like now with Sasha?
Well, it's great. I mean, when she was at my mum's to start with, obviously no one was in the house. But this week, just gone. We've had gardeners in and out all day, right next to the window where she would have gone for them. And it was so nice just to be able to carry on with my working day at home, with her sitting in there, them just chatting, getting on with things. And that's something I never thought that I'd be able to do. And just, that's just great. That's awesome.
It really is. And you go on little walks now with her, don't you? I see you've made some friends outside of dog training, because I often see photos on your Instagram with like Maria. Didn't you go out with Claire the other day as well, Claire and Jess?
Yeah, Claire, Jess, Ranger, Bongo. There's quite a few of us, and it's just such a nice controlled walk. And it's even to the point that when people are passing, we'll all sit, well, not us.
The neat trick, handlers just sit down.
Get the dogs to sit or to lie down, and the people that walk past are so appreciative of it and say thank you, and they're just so shocked. It's something they don't come across, and it's nice for us to be proud to have our dogs under control. You should be
proud, because like I said, all you have to do is look at where you started to where you are now. You was on the brink of rehoming your dog. Your dog now is the dog that, as people walk past, you ask your dog to sit, and people are like, that's amazing, I'd love my dog to be like that. Yeah,
it does. It makes I went for a walk over the woods the other day. I had a dog coming towards us on a flexi lead. I just told Teddy to down, and I just stood there and waited probably 30 seconds or so for them to get near me, and they actually said, that was amazing, how did you do that? Yeah. And I just went, no, it's fine. And as soon as they walked past, I just said break, and off he ran again. Didn't even approach the other dog, just carried on. And it's moments like that where you think, wow, that is really nice to be able to do that.
And I mean, I love what I do, because for me, like when I was talking to my friend Alex, we was going through everything, talking about the success stories, wanting to get people on. We've got a whole queue of people we want to get on here to tell their stories, because it does make me really, really proud. But the other thing I'm proud of, and I don't actually see this from a lot of dog trainers, is the relationships formed through dog training. I didn't get into this business to make friends. I've got friends, I've got family. I got into this business to help dogs, but I've made some amazing friendships from it. For instance, we've got Evan over there. He's become a very, very good friend of mine. I mean, he comes around mine, we eat pizza. And he's become a business partner. He's my business partner now.
Literally
Sophie,
own 1/3 of the business.
Yeah, Sophie, for instance. Me, you and Lee, who starts for me next month, and Courtney, we did the Toughest Mudder together. That was extreme, and that was an experience like nothing before. I think we all lost a little bit of dignity that night. A 24-hour Toughest Mudder event was all in, what are they, wetsuits? We was in wetsuits. It was so cold, going through icy, muddy lakes. Like, there was one lake you have to swim across, and it's on every lap. So you do a lap, you start to warm up. And remember, it's at night. It started at 8 p.m. and goes through till 8 a.m. And it gets to a point where, when that sun goes down and it was like a full moon, it was freezing cold. And then you get to this lake that's deeper than you, and you have to swim through it, and you're getting wet. And I did end up quitting in the end. I think about 4.5 hours into it, we did take off more than we could chew. But I got to that lake and I was like, I'm so cold, so cold. But yeah, I mean that's what I mean. We've gone from taking you on as a business partner, doing Tough Mudder events and things like that together. It's the friendships you form are really what makes this job truly special. And I don't see many people doing that. I see many people having good clients, but we go beyond that. Like I said, it's not my goal to make friends with people in this. My goal is just to get you to the level you're happy with. Yeah, I would have been happy just to, well done, Soph. Obviously, Sasha, we got it to where you want. You can go and enjoy life. But it is special when you can form that friendship out of it and things like that. So No, that's really, really good. So I think that's really about it. Have you got anything else to add? We're not going to go into the detail about how we lost our dignity at the toughest mother. I don't think people need to hear that. But yeah, anything else to add, Soph?
Not really. I just got to say that find a decent trainer, like so.
Yes. Do you still think I'm a dickhead, Soph? Did you ever think I was a dickhead, actually? Because...
So, going back to the chat we had about e-collars, if we elaborate on that a little bit, so what's your opinion on Adam? Oh, he's a little bit arrogant, I think was the words, Sophie. Was that it? A little bit arrogant?
Yeah.
He can be a bit of a dickhead, but he knows his shit.
Yeah, exactly that. He does.
Well, I can't be that much of a dickhead. Me and Sophie have become friends. So.
Yeah.
You're my business partner, so I can't be that much.
No. But when we joke about Adam being arrogant, it's just the way he comes across. He's just...
It's Essex.
It's because it's no bullshit, is what it is. He won't fluff it up. It's, you know, this is what you got to do and fucking get on with it.
Failure is not an option.
No,
yeah, failure is
absolutely.
not an option.
I don't think without it I would have been where I am now. I really don't. Just being quiet.
No, if he'd sort of put his arm around and just say, "Oh, come on, let's do this,"
because it's not just, like I said, it's not just training dogs. We're changing people's lives. We're giving them the confidence, and that can affect other areas of your life. Yeah, once you start feeling confident, you can start to actually employ that in other areas of your life. You're no longer that quiet person that nobody really takes seriously. You become a fucking voice that people do start to take seriously. You become a role model.
Yeah.
You effectively are a role model for any future clients starting that are like you, that are very quiet, that are very passive. Yeah. To go, wow, I can't believe that person over there was me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that person was worse than you. Now look at her. So So we've hit that sort of hour mark, guys. We're going to pretty much wrap it up there. Dog training tip. I completely forgot to set a dog training tip for people. Right, dog training tip, very quickly. If you want a better relationship with your dog, we recommend hand feeding your dog. Now, hand feeding means you stop using dog treats, you stop feeding your dog from a bowl, you take the dog's daily food allowance, and you stick it in a treat pouch. Every time you ask the dog to do something or it does something you like, you use the dog's daily food to reward them. You only do this until the dog's at a level you're happy with. If your dog's raw fed, stick on some latex gloves and stop being a Wendy. Yeah, just get on with it. But hand feeding brings out your dog's food drive, so it makes them less fussy. It improves your relationship. It improves their obedience. It's absolutely game changing. If you're struggling with food drive, if you're struggling with motivation, if you're struggling to get your dog to listen to you, if you're struggling with your engagement and your bond, hand feed your dog. When it's at a stage that you're happy with, then you can go back for feeding from a bowl if you want to. But hand feeding is a game changer. Right? Very much thank you to Sophie for coming on and telling your story, Sophie. We very much appreciate it. As always, Evan, you got anything to add?
Next week we're going to talk about the business.
Yes.
Where we started, where we're going, and pretty much what's happening in Southend dog training.
Yes. So episode 1, we told Evan's story and how Evan sort of come about the business. Next week, though, what we're going to do is we're going to tell my story. Yeah, the story of Southend dog training. How we got into dog training. How we went from basically
a guy out in the middle
small
of
town boy in Essex.
That's it, small town boy in Essex.
Having an international fan base recognised in 50 countries worldwide on 6 different continents.
In fact, we just had someone sign up from India yesterday, which I thought was quite cool.
So, no, India's like our 3rd biggest following. Yeah, so so gone from that to having 300,000 followers. So we're going to tell the Southend dog training story. But right, guys, as always, thank you to everyone that tuned in to listen to us waffle on. Remember, guys, if you have a dog that's here and reactive, that's nervous, and you are terrified to take that dog out, if you've been pulled over by your dog, if you're one of these people that are really soft, really passive, and you think there is no fucking way out, understand Sophie was like you once upon a time, and she's now one of the best dog handlers I know. So, on that note, good night.
Bye.